Hi guys!
Hi!
We're back again with another episode today. We're really excited.
Baking day.
Baking day again. We're going to be talking about what we're going to be making, but there's a really important date coming up.
Jen's birthday. How old are you going to be?
49.
49. Crazy.
I'm excited. It's going to be fun. This
49.
year, last year we didn't really celebrate well. COVID had just kind of was just up and coming.
Ruined everybody's plans.
So this year, celebrating.
Mom and I are going to throw her like this really classy kind of tea party.
Yeah, I'm
thing.
excited.
Yeah. But your favorite dessert of all time?
It's got to be chocolate cake. So we're going to be baking chocolate cake. And you know, honestly, girls, you know, why am I making my own chocolate cake, you ask? Because you don't leave that up to chance.
No, you don't.
You must make sure you take care of yourself in all ways. That goes for Mother's Day, birthdays, all the special days that you have. You care for yourself, and then anything that your family does is just icing on the cake.
Icing on the
pun
cake.
intended.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to make her the most decadent chocolate, most delicious cake.
My favorite.
It's your favorite Hershey cake?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And we've always got to put something on the stove. So we're going to make our family's classic spaghetti and meatballs.
Yes.
With a penny.
Our mom's recipe, but with tweaks of our own.
With a little bit of tweaks.
Yes.
So not a lot. I'm going to try to stay as true as I can. Our original Sicilian recipe from our grandma's.
Our mom's full Sicilian, in case you don't know.
And her mom is from Sicily.
Right.
And so they used tomato paste, and I have elevated it just a little bit to make it maybe a more richer, authentically Italian. So I don't know. Sometimes you just got to break out on your own and do your own thing.
Right. You just do. Our mom always gets mad when we do that, but we're doing it anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you put a spice in there that's not a part of the original Sicilian recipe, she's like,
way to bastardize it.
you've completely bastardized
That's
my
what
sauce.
she says exactly.
And then if she tries it and she's just like, well, it's not my sauce. I mean, she won't even applaud it.
No,
it makes her mad.
No, she does. She did like yeah. It's not even good.
Okay, I know, but yeah, she acts like it's gross.
Right.
And then we are going to make our delicious bread that we taught you last week. We are now going to make it into a garlic braid.
Really?
So we're going to use the recipe, our bread recipe that we taught you last week. Mm-hmm. We're going to teach you how to make that into a braid and then drizzle it with garlic, butter, a little oregano, a little basil. And so you can have that as well.
Delicious.
Now here's the thing, we're going to show you, this is a big pot of spaghetti sauce. You're going to have leftovers.
Right.
So what are a couple of ideas now for the rest of the week people can use for that sauce?
Right, because we always want to use this to our advantage for the whole week to make things easy, but meatball sandwiches.
Yum.
And our twist is that we're going to actually use some of our bread. Hopefully there's some left over.
Yeah.
But remember, the bread dough recipe makes 2 loaves.
Exactly.
So you either can make it into a loaf and a braid or 2 braids, because the braids freeze really, really well. We'll get into more of that a little bit later, but we're gonna slice it. We're gonna say an open-faced sub sandwich.
Yeah.
Then covered with a little, you've got it nice and toasted, and you put your meatballs in fresh basil. So yeah, we were thinking open-faced meatball sub. Garnish it with your favorite parm. You got some fresh parm and basil.
Or mozzarella, melt some mozzarella on top.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Eat that with a fork and a big salad.
A big salad.
You could also make a meatball sub. If you have some hoagies or you want to pick up some hoagie bread, you could certainly make yourself a meatball sub.
But this is a great way to use things that we've made
already.
And that's the point,
Chicken parm. I usually use my sauce for chicken parm.
Yes.
You could also make a casserole, so you could just dump the noodles in with the sauce, melt some cheese on top, put it in the oven, and then just scoop it out like it's a casserole.
I mean,
whatever you gotta do.
Please.
Delicious.
Please. And then we've got my birthday cake to kind of treat yourself throughout the week.
I can't wait to get started.
Let's get started. Let's bake.
Bye. Oh, well, not bye. See you in a second.
Let's bake.
Okay, bye. Let's bake.
Okay, we're getting ready to make our spaghetti sauce. I'm wondering if I should have worn white. We're gonna start with 2 small onions, or 2 medium onions, or 1 large, okay? Diced.
Yes.
Nope, but okay, you're gonna do that, all right. I was like, Jen, you can't even see my face. You can't even see my face, but that's not the point. You wanna show the...
Right. Okay, so we're going to get these nice and soft. They will cook in the sauce, okay? So you don't need to get them. I just get them nice and soft. One of my favorite things to do is as I'm sauteing, I like to pick someone in the room and just make eye contact. So
We could use my husband coming in and out of the garage.
he is cooking it. You know what? We don't have a lot of time. I gotta pick up Lucy, so we don't have, you know, do what you gotta do, John.
Right,
We gotta film this. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, brown, sweat the onions. Okay, we got these nice and softened. Now I'm gonna put in 3 minced garlic cloves, okay? And just start to put that in for about a minute. If it starts to burn on you, maybe 30 seconds. But once you start to smell it, you're good.
Yeah.
And I'm
It's nice to have everything kind of ready, so.
Yep, and so now I've got 1 can of the San Marzano peeled tomatoes. And one by one, I'm gonna start to squeeze these in. Now this makes a huge mess.
Now here's another idea. I have a tomato pulser.
Dump that in and pulse it.
Yes.
Okay, so what I do at
So
home
these,
because
one
I
of
don't
these,
have one.
you can get these on Amazon. And this is all you do. But you know,
If you don't have one, very gently with your fingers, pierce it and crush it with your hands. That's what I do at home.
Right.
Now I need
The
to buy one of
Italian
these.
way.
No, yeah, you're just supposed to do everything right over the stove. That's the thing about Sicilians is they just cook over one pot and
Yeah.
they dice things in their hands. I've had friends come over and I'm dicing tomatoes and onions in my hands and they're like, what? It's that old country in me, you know what I'm saying? Okay, get that out of my face. All right, now we've got a can, 1 large 28-ounce can of tomato puree.
I love puree. I love puree for like my pizza sauces, stuff like that. Too.
Yes, yes,
It's
yes,
so thick.
yes. Then another 29-ounce can or 28-ounce can of sauce. I like to get the best possible brands, okay? Organic, beautiful brands. I really go all out, but Target didn't have any in this, so I got the Hunts.
Right.
You know what? It's going to be absolutely
Yep.
delicious.
But Mere Glen Organics is a really good one.
Okay.
It's a nice full pot. Looks delicious.
Oh, yeah. Now this is, I'm gonna do about 8 ounces of paste, okay? This is a 12-ounce can, so I'm just gonna eyeball it. And then what you wanna do is you can do a cup of sherry. You could maybe even do like half a cup of red wine, add that in here. You could add that for a little flavor because I have babies. I don't do anything that they could detect like what's going on in
Right.
here. So I try to just keep it simple to the recipe. For our Sicilian recipe, there's nothing like that. It's just
Right.
the sauce and the spices, right?
My mom just uses tomato paste and water.
Yep. Okay, so now I'm gonna eyeball it and I'm gonna add, just to loosen up this puree, about a half cup to maybe a cup. Stir that around. It's looking thick and rich. Beautiful. I think singing to your sauce. I just want you to know that I love you.
It helps.
I'm gonna put you on some noodles, baby. Okay, now it's time. Let's season this, okay? Salt to taste. This is a big pot. I would say 2 huge pinchers, wouldn't you?
Like a couple, I'd probably say a couple tablespoons, probably.
Yep. Same. I would do the same with your pepper. Get it nice and peppery.
You're gonna do less of the pepper than your salt, but you know, I'd say a tablespoon.
Right. Exactly. I'm gonna mix that in. All right, now we're going to do some dried basil, okay?
Yes.
And you know, the recipe is a handful. Well, what's a handful? About a 1/4 cup. We want a lot.
We really do.
Okay.
It's a large pot of spaghetti that's gonna last you all week.
And Mom
You know?
always says to
Intimately.
just really
You've got to
crush
crush
it
the
to get
dried
the
herbs.
oils
Yep.
out, to get the oils out of that, okay? And now we're gonna do aniseed. This can be hard to find at the store. It's almost like they don't, you used to be able to get a ton of it.
Like
and now
it's
they're
a-
like, nobody's buying this. Here, weirdo.
It's an
Here's your anise.
afterthought in the grocery store.
Now, anise has a licoricey flavor, okay? So this is actually what makes this Sicilian sauce different than a lot of sauces you'll see. It has a, it's what's in pepperoni. The anise seed is in pepperonis.
Yeah.
If you get one caught in your tooth and you crunch it, it kind of tastes like licorice. It does not make your spaghetti sauce taste like licorice.
No, but boy, it just gives it that
Extra flavor that people are like, what
is in your sauce? Yeah,
exactly.
I think that's the secret to the sauce is honestly the aniseed. And I know Mom specifically she'd say the aniseed for sure has got to be crushed in your hands because it's these little seed pods.
Okay, so now I'm using a little bit less of oregano. Oregano is not in the traditional Sicilian recipe.
Now, because Mom would always say,
if you tell Mom, she'll go, well, you just made pizza sauce, but
right,
go ahead.
Right.
I love it.
She gets that, but the oregano we love.
I love it nice and seasoned. And I love to be able to see
The seasoning.
seasonings
Yeah, me too.
in the sauce. And so we use a lot. Our brother makes our sauce too, and he's extremely heavy-handed. I think he almost uses a bottle.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's really a family preference. Mom is more dainty,
Right.
just very methodical, and her kids are like,
Right.
Okay, so now we're gonna stir this up.
It looks so good.
Get a close-up of this. I could eat it right now. Now I'm gonna put a little sugar in here.
Yes.
Jenny just admitted to me that she puts about a half cup.
Well, yeah. A quarter to a half cup, depending on how much I'm making that day. But if I'm making a big pot like this, she's even made more today than I had for my family. But I do probably about almost a half a cup.
Her
It
sauce
pretty sweet.
was absolutely delicious. It's very sweet. So to taste, I do a pinch up to a fourth cup.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put a fourth cup in here. Go get it for me.
Okay, here I got you like a quarter cup, so you can do what you want.
I can't even stand to do more than that. So I'm probably, I think I like an 1/8 cup. Is probably where I'm at. Jen's a half cup. I will say hers is delicious. So
We have to.
now you gotta try it and tell me, does it need anything?
So good. A little bit of salt. That's what's Get
Taste
your
as you go.
Get your tasting spoons and feel free to double dip. It's you're at home.
That was probably originally your spoon. So
I know.
Okay, so
We've been swapping spoons all day.
keep tasting it. It's not it needs at least an hour until it tastes like it really should taste.
Right. It's
to
got to
cook.
have some time to kind of.
So let's start to simmer this and get started on our meatballs.
Let's get started on our meatballs. Cover it with a
Is there an
little.
echo in here?
Yes.
Listen, stir it.
Yeah.
Yes, put the sugar in. Yes.
Trying to find my roll. Okay. So also, Mom always have a little crack. Let it vent.
Let it
Just
vent.
a little bit, and get it really. If you got a gasser, man,
You
make
do
sure-
not want it going nuts and
No.
burning at the bottom.
Couple bubbles percolating. That's it.
That's it. Okay, so it's time for some meatballs. Let's go. Here's what my mom does. She uses, it's basically all the spices that you put into the sauce, you put into the meatballs. Sometimes she'll use a small onion or half an onion, and then an egg to bind it, with some cheese. Sometimes she puts breadcrumbs, sometimes she doesn't. Rolls it up into a ball, and then she fries it. She fries it in the beginning with her onions.
Oh, so you are putting it in the oven?
I'm not putting it in the oven. I'm just going to put it right in the sauce.
Oh,
So-
okay. A lot of times we grew up where she cooked the meatballs first
with the
ground them
onion.
on all the sides with
Then
the
she
onion.
dumps the sauce
Then
in.
she put her tomato tomato paste around it, and she literally she didn't even take the meatballs out.
Yes. So then to me, it splashes a lot and it causes a chaotic scene.
Right.
So I stopped doing that. So this is the way I prefer to do it. This is the recipe that I'm going to give you guys. I used to just mix it with my hands like a meatloaf, and then Mario Batali says that he uses one of these. I was like, if it's good enough for Mario Batali, I'm going to use one too. Okay, don't be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I use a pound of 80-20 hamburger. And
I personally would rather wash my hands in my mixer, but teaches them.
to each his own. And then I'd also mixes it beautifully.
Yes.
And then I use a pound of mild Italian sausage. You could use sweet or hot, depending on your family's preferences. Okay, then I also put in about 3 cloves of minced garlic. I do not do onion. There's no reason why. It's fine if you want to, but I have enough in my sauce. Okay, and then I use panko crumbs. Jenny, you use our toasted bread, right?
I do. I don't even toast it. I just crumble up my homemade bread.
Okay, I just take a cup and a half of panko crumbs, put some milk in it. I found that when I cook it this way, my meatballs are restaurant quality.
Oh, wow, seriously?
Yeah. And then make sure it's all saturated in the milk, soaks it all up.
Definitely gonna have to try this.
While that soaks, about a half a cup of
Grated Parmesan.
2 eggs. Where my eggs go? Thank you. 2 eggs. Why am I not putting it in here?
That's the question.
That's the real question. Sorry, buddy. I'll clean it. I'll clean it, buddy. I promise. Okay, then you know what I do? I take this, squeeze the milk out of it.
Oh. Where'd you get this tip from?
Mario Batali.
Mario Batali. Nice.
I find it's the perfect meatball. Wow. Sometimes you find something and it's just so good you can't go back. And then you're like, do I have to go
It's the
through
tried and
this?
trues, you know?
I know.
You just-
Okay, that's good enough. Okay, here we go. Lots of salt. 2 big pinches. 1 big pinch of pepper. I love to get some oregano in here. Again, Mom would be really disgusted. Just call them pizza meatballs.
Right.
Then. If you're I mean, go ahead and do it, but call it pizza meatballs then. Okay. Basil, dried basil. Jenny puts fresh basil in hers. I don't, but I love that idea. Do it. Do you put dried basil too?
I do.
I like to finish my sauce off with basil because it can turn brown in the sauce. And
It
so
does
that's
not
nice.
turn brown at all.
Not for you.
No, I do use fresh basil in my sauce and as a garnish as well. It's not that it turns, well, to me, for mine, it doesn't really turn brown, but it's, you know, it's wilted in there. But either way, garnish is always the way to go. Vinegar.
Okay, so this is mixed beautifully.
Nice.
And guys, here's just what I do. I just plop it right into the sauce. It'll
How
be
easy.
cooked in 20 minutes.
And this is bubbling away perfectly.
Did you want to get your camera? Okay, so about this size
Nice.
is what I like to do. And then plop it in the sauce.
That's the kind of boil we're looking for too. Just this little percolating.
This will make a lot of meatballs. Probably
Yes.
12, 8 to 12, depending on how big you make them.
Right. You know, also, you know, Mom makes them about this big.
Yes, she does.
Literally that. That's the true Sicilian meatball as well. They're just, she's never called it gravy.
I know she does.
No. But anyway, her meatballs are this big. They're a meal in itself.
So when our grandparents were still alive and we would have Thanksgiving with them, Grandpa Marino would always, there was always spaghetti sauce with your Thanksgiving dinner. So
Right.
there's always spaghetti
Right.
with the spaghetti sauce plus turkey
Right.
and mashed potatoes.
Right.
And it had to be like that for every holiday. So
Right.
spaghetti was always on a major holiday along
Right.
with the other more traditional dishes.
Right.
Which, you know, ridiculous.
I know.
Mine get bigger as I get more tired of doing
Right.
this. I'm like, you know what? There's gonna be
Done.
1/2 pounder in here.
Right. Okay, so now we're gonna this is looking beautiful. I just move things around, make sure everything gets nice and submerged. Okay. And then I just let this slow simmer away. These will be done and ready to taste test in about 20 to 30 minutes, okay? And they're gonna make the sauce, they're gonna impart their flavor, their meat flavor into the sauce.
They're marrying.
That's why frying is actually what my mom's preference, because when you fry it, you really incorporate the meat into the sauce.
Right.
Personal preference.
Because you have the bits
Exactly.
at the bottom and stuff.
Okay, we're ready to go ahead and make our 2 loaves of bread that we're going to braid, because this recipe, we'll go ahead and link our second episode that talks about how we make this bread.
Perfect.
So, but in this case, we are not doing loaves, we're braiding them, because it's almost like a monkey bread, but you're pulling it apart. You can do it that way. You can slice it either way. It's tummy. But the butter, garlic butter basil sauce that we put on top
Outrageous.
it is definitely outrageous. Bit of French flour here. keep it from sticking.
Okay, so this is enough to make 2 loaves.
2 braided breads. Yeah, 2 loaves, 2 braided breads. I just eyeball it. You can weigh it.
Yeah, you can weigh it if you want to be precise, but
We just aren't.
we just aren't.
Again, with the okay, so just like any braid, you've got me. Yep. Again, you don't want this too floured either because we want a little bit of stick so you can get some traction.
That's good.
A lot of times it's a good idea is to kind of really time this so that you're pulling it out of the oven fresh when it's time for dinner. But I tell you what, either way, that's usually what I do.
Yep.
Is I time it.
I had a friend who had a family member in the hospital, and so she was spending a lot of time there with him in the hospital. And so
This makes such a perfect gift.
Yeah, I made our family spaghetti with all of the meatballs. I bought one of those trays, those foil roasting trays
Right.
that you can get at the store with the lid. Cooked the spaghetti, I did penne, and then put that at the bottom. And then I put the sauce on top, the meatballs on top, fresh basil and parm on top. And then I made her this braid.
Yes.
And
She's still talking about it.
She's still talking about it.
Bless them a lot.
The next day she had leftovers after a long day at the hospital. She said, "This is feeding my soul."
Right.
And so that's the beauty of having dishes
That's
like
the
this.
point. That's the point. We're into feeding souls.
And then she said, what did you do with that bread? And I was like, it's our family bread, braided with garlic, sauteed garlic and butter and herbs on top.
it's easy.
Flake salt.
That was my mom's favorite line. We were always like, "Mom, what have you done? How did you make this chicken?" She's like, "A little salt and pepper and olive oil." Now for the braid, it's just a simple braid, but you make sure it gets nice and knotted up at the top. And I don't do it too tight. I do it kind of loose.
Gorgeous.
Right, kind of tuck it under those ends.
And it's gonna blow up. It's gonna blow up, really, isn't it?
It does. It blows up huge. Word of the wise: don't do double loaf braid unless you want to be bananas.
It's gonna like take.
It's like
gonna
this
blow up
high,
your
and,
kitchen.
and it takes an hour to bake. I mean, I'm telling you, this thing. I don't know, something about this braid. Right. So we're gonna let this rest for 30 minutes. But pro tip with this bread, I found that if I was like last minute, I'd make spaghetti for the family. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make some bread. I'm gonna make that braided bread real quick. And honestly, I was like, I don't have time for it to rise. I let it do a little bit of a little jig on its own for the first initial, and then I braid it and pop it right into the oven. And let me tell you, you don't have to let it rise that second time. So we're gonna let it sit for 30.
Put a towel over it.
Put a little time now. So we are going to actually do this again. So we will have 2 braided loaves for our family. So
Perfect.
okay. Okay, we're back. We're ready to make my birthday cake. So this is exciting.
So exciting.
Honestly, it's the Hershey cake. It's tried and true because
It never fails you.
it never fails me. And it's easy. It's one of those dump everything in, turn it on, throw it in the oven, cakes. And it's a winner every time. Plus, to me, a good cake is something that is so moist. It's got to be moist. I don't like a dry crumb.
Yeah.
Disgusting. I don't like it. It has its place. Not in my chocolate cake. It's very moist. This is the most decadent cake you'll have. So, and the way I found this recipe, even though it's on the back of a Hershey box, is that Robin, which is my husband's mother, she had the recipe handwritten in one of her old cookbooks, and it said Hershey cake, and so I made it, and then I found out it was on the back of this. Yeah. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Super easy. We're just going to really put everything in all together. We're going to start with our sugar, 2 cups. It's a lot of sugar. That's why it's so good. Okay, then we're going to put in our flour, which is 1 3/4 cups. Our cocoa, 3/4 cup. I like to put all the dry in first. So this is a teaspoon and a half both of baking soda, baking powder, and a teaspoon of salt. So what I'm gonna do though first is kind of just give it, give it a little mix. Now we're gonna add a cup of milk.
Does it matter? Whole milk is that fine?
I always use whole milk. More
Okay.
fat, the better. Okay. Add half a cup of, you can do light olive oil or vegetable oil. 2 eggs. And you mix. It's done, except it does call for 1 cup of boiling water. So that is the only thing that is done last. It also calls for just a little drop or teaspoon of vanilla. So we're gonna put our vanilla in and some boiling water. So I always put it into my microwave for about 2 to 3 minutes and it's nice and boiling. So first you get this mixed up first. And then you stream in the hot boiling water. Okay, so I put in a teaspoon of vanilla and now I also, this is a nice thick, what you're used to seeing for a cake batter, but once you put the water in it, you're like, uh-oh, is this wrong? I used to think that when I was 20. I was like, oh no, but it becomes it's like water. I mean, it's very runny and it's supposed to be that way. So just slowly stream it in. Your 1 cup of boiling water.
That would definitely make me insecure.
Right, but it is how it's supposed to be. If you want to taste test it before the water comes in. It's like,
It's super watery.
really, yeah, it's very watery, but if you want to taste test it before the water goes in. I'm always like, guys, you can come in and take your taste test now.
Tastes like hot cocoa.
Right, now it kind of does look like hot cocoa. Scrape the sides. I'm gonna mix it one more time after I do that, but it's very runny.
Oh yeah, babe.
Oh yeah, babe. Perfect. Again, 350 degree oven for 30 to 35 minutes until you can put a toothpick in and it comes out clean.
Okay, we're gonna taste a meatball. Make sure that everything is going the way it should. See, look at how that cuts.
Ah,
Do you see? Fresh parm. I'm gonna tear. This was already recording. Oh, was it? I'm gonna tear some basil on top. Okay. Oh yeah. What the panko does with the milk is that it gives it that spongy meatball.
yeah. Definitely.
Rustic has its place.
Right.
Okay, I'm not saying this is the best meatball, but it gives it that really spongy. You can taste all the spices. All the Italian spices are coming through really strong.
I can't-
Perfectly seasoned, right?
Perfectly seasoned.
The fresh basil gives it that, elevates it to that little freshness. And then
It's
the
over the
parm.
top. And look at how easily that just cooked raw into the sauce. It's just, I think I almost prefer it not hard on the sides and heavily browned, seared like that. Kind of like them soft and billowy and like full of,
Fluffy.
man, that's good.
Perfect. I'm excited.
Should we make the frosting?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got spaghetti is still cooking away. Nice
Bread's
and
in the
slow.
oven.
Bread is in the oven, and now we've got cake in the oven, and so now we're going to make our frosting.
Now, here's a pro tip too. Really, to really take advantage of a baking day, this is what I've always done with all of my children or anybody I wanted to make sure that I had a special cake for, is I always incorporated what was going on in that week. And if there was a birthday party coming up for one of my children, I always made the cake in advance, let it cool, and I would freeze them. That was part of why I was able to do dynamite parties with showstopper all the way like I just would wanted to go all the way. You know, I'd hand make hand, those party favors.
Yep.
Everything was decorated beautifully. And the way you do that is just planning it out little by little as you lead up to the party.
Yeah.
I mean, and that goes even a month ahead when you're beginning. But for that cake, do it within your baking day and you're set. You're just pulling it out in the morning, letting it thaw, frost the day of.
Exactly.
Easy.
Exactly.
So for the frosting, this is going to be easy. It's going to be a typical buttercream, and we're going to use really good butter because we like to go the extra mile.
We're going extra. We're gonna go. We're always gonna go extra for you,
buddy. I'm gonna
unless
say
we're not selling
49.
at the grocery. Yeah, 49.
We need Kerrygold.
She deserves the Kerrygold.
I deserve the Kerrygold.
Give
for
the
sure.
woman the Kerrygold.
Let's do it. It's worth $7 a, brick. Let's go ahead and you want to have this be at room temperature. So we're going to actually have to put this and get it in the microwave to soften it just a little bit because you definitely don't want it lumpy.
Okay, we got butter, nicely softened.
Yes, and we're also going to double the recipe because
doubling the recipe for the frosting because I find
must.
that what they give you never covers the cake.
It never does.
I want to be able to see that frosting in between my cakes.
It comes like a naked cake if you don't.
I know.
Unless you're doing a 9x13.
Right, exactly.
Then
that's plenty.
you don't need to double it. But it's my birthday.
It's your birthday.
It's a tier cake,
We're
girls.
doubling it.
It's a tier cake with sprinkles.
Yeah, duh.
Okay, so we have 2 sticks of softened butter. We're gonna do 2/3 cup of cocoa. We're actually gonna double that, so. It actually even says on the back of there that you can add as little or as much cocoa as you want. That's why I kind of did it that way.
Yep.
Because it depends on if you want more of a milky flavor to it or more of a darker chocolate
And you
flavor.
like darker chocolate, right?
No, I don't. But anyways.
You like it fudgy and rich.
No, but dark chocolate crosses a line into Bitterville.
She likes her stuff so fudgy and rich that it's kind of like
Milk
one
chocolate
bite.
fudgy.
Okay.
Yeah. But we have to get
To each his own.
we have to get this right.
All I know is that when I eat your chocolate, I'm like, 2 bites is enough for me.
Right.
I like white, light. I love chocolate. I love every dessert. But if I'm gonna have one, I want a white, light cake. Lots of light, whipped up frosting.
Okay, so with powdered sugar, I've got an organic powdered sugar here. But it calls for 3 cups, so I'm gonna probably need to have even maybe more of this. But we're gonna kind of get this mixed, and then we're gonna add our milk, which has a little bit of cocoa in it. 2/3 cup.
Oh yeah.
Okay, this frosting is ready when our cakes are cooled so that we can frost. Okay, here we go. So we've got our bread. We're going to pour our garlic butter over the top. Okay,
So excited.
okay, so we've got some fresh basil, a stick of butter, parm. Okay, and then a little garlic we're gonna mince real quick, okay?
We've got the butter melting. Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna put some minced garlic in here, just a couple of cloves.
Yum.
And just stir it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I go quick because
You don't wanna burn that garlic.
you don't want to burn the garlic at all, so I go really quick. Wait for it to melt. All right, it's melted. I'm gonna put some fresh basil in here.
Stop.
Okay, let's get it off. We don't want to burn the garlic. We just want to infuse the flavor of the garlic.
Let's bring it over. Do you like to separate out the braid a little bit, kind of make some room?
I do. I did that too.
So I'm gonna
Nails
just,
are long. I'm gonna have you do
I'm
it.
gonna separate the braid a little bit so
Yes.
that the butter kind of goes in. Yes. Oh, hot. Hot! Oh my gosh. I mean, seriously.
That is 500 pounds and scorching hot.
Yes, okay, now
Okay.
a little bit of some fresh Parmigiano Reggiano.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. What in the world? Okay, then you know what I like to do? I like to get some salt.
Yes, you need a little bit of some
Thick,
kosher
coarse
flaky salt.
flaky salt, coarse salt.
And bam.
Just give me this in that pot. Just dunk it in.
Seriously, to have this and then
I mean, do we need to go take a picture of it over there?
yeah, we do. Okay, we can only have a little slice of this, but
Why can we only have a little slice of that?
well, cause I'm seriously feeding my family this tonight. She's like, give me a big chunk. What's wrong with you?
Wait a minute.
We gotta take some good, buddy. Wait for me.
Oh my gosh. I'm jealous of that piece.
I bet you are. You guys.
I gotta dunk it in the sauce.
Okay, this is what you do. Okay, you dunk. Yeah, that's what you do. It's the Italian way. You will burn your mouth, and it's a part of it, so just toughen up. No, that's what you do. What? Film me. My piece, of course, better.
It is better.
It's my birthday week. You know what?
Butter, garlic.
You know what? You just feel like you're home.
You feel like you don't deserve it. Like, what have I done to deserve this?
What have I done?
The pasta sauce is sweet.
Oh, it's
It has
thick.
just a little
that
bit of acid
ragu.
from the tomato. All of the herbs come through. The basil.
You taste that aniseed.
You taste the aniseed. It's beautifully salted.
And if you didn't know what aniseed was, you wouldn't taste it. You're just like, what is making this so dynamite?
Right, exactly. Oh yeah. Okay, my turn. I'm tired of watching that happen.
Oh my gosh. Tired of watching that happen. I know. You want a bite?
Yeah. Okay, it's cake time.
Yeah,
It
we're
is
excited.
time to
Assemble and frost the cake. Okay,
Yes.
because happy birthday to me.
Okay, first of all, I'm smelling so much chocolate right now.
It's decadent, it's delicious. What I love is the simple swath of some. Now we like a lot in the middle,
I like a ton.
hence why we made double. Williams and Sonoma, thank you. These are beautiful specials.
Yes, they
We've
are.
got different kinds. So I say
thick.
film this part. Thick, delicious, and you want to push it out to the side. You know, you want it coming out the side. I would say,
I like it a half an inch thick.
me too. We're gonna need a little bit more, just a little bit.
We've got plenty.
Tons.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel
yeah.
like you
Oh,
just
yeah.
need some in the middle more. This is definitely, kind. It's got to get a good lodge
Some
in the
people
throat.
don't like frosting. If you've got people in your family who don't like frosting, then use less. But I don't recommend it.
We will judge you.
Yeah, we'll be like, what kind of cake is this?
Yeah.
Some dry.
It's
phony
inferior.
Cake.
It's inferior.
It's inferior.
Okay, so now
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
what you can do is, with a serrated knife, you can make this nice and flat, or you can go like this too.
I like to do that. It makes it nice and perfectly flat on top.
Now, you'll never, with this gap, it doesn't really matter because when you go to frost it, it's gone. I have always done it this way, and
Yep.
works out just, especially get her in good. So after I squished it,
Ooh, it's delicious.
it kind of settled in. See that? Okay, now we're gonna get our first, keep on going and get that first thin layer on, where you make sure that the crumbs are taken care of. So you just kind of want a nice
it has
little,
a particular name where
yeah.
you put the first thin layer all around it so that you don't have a bunch of crumbs in your frosting.
Right, kind of seals in all those crumbs. Definitely just an easy home cook cake. I like ripply on the top and then nice and clean on the sides.
Yeah.
But sometimes just that beautiful swirls on the sides too is
Yep.
gorgeous.
Yep.
Talk about though an easy, this cake is brought out every birthday for my family. We have a couple that like white cakes, so we'll be sure to be putting some of those out. And my husband prefers strawberry shortcakes for his birthday. So I kind of just spin the base. Ooh, I feel like the whisking of the mayo. It's like, so.
Oh yeah.
Happy birthday, Jenny.
Happy birthday to you.
Okay, and then, oh yeah.
There it is. That's when you know it's a birthday.
Then now you know it's party time.
Party time. Birthday time.
It's party time.
All right.
Let's do that. Put that back in there. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear buddy. Happy birthday to you. You know how kids cry?
Yeah.
It's like, I know. Or scream. Okay, party's over. Never mind. Take out the candles. Okay.
Are we gonna slice
We
it?
have to slice it and try it. I mean, what kind of host would we be if we didn't try it for you?
Thick, hearty.
I'm
can
salivating.
I can tell by the way that that's.
It always comes out just.
Oh,
Do you see the thickness of that?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
I'm ready. Get your fork. Yeah. Okay.
Where are you going?
I like to hit the back. Yeah.
Is that what
I'm a
you
little
want?
mad you got that. Okay.
You get
Thank
it's
you.
your birthday.
Thank you. Oh, see, now this is all I need is like the ratio is off the charts. It's all frosting, a drop of cake.
First, I noticed how moist it is. So that watery batter that scares you turns into a moist, beautiful cake. Very moist, decadent.
Yep.
Obviously, extremely chocolatey, but it's not so fudgy you have to stop. I could probably, if I was
can keep
hungry,
going.
I'd eat this.
You can keep going. We're pretty full, but we're gonna take one more bite.
Speak for yourself. What are you talking about? We're pretty full. Stop.
The crunch of the confetti on top. It screams birthday. It screams it.
I would recommend giving it sprinkles so that you have a crunch of the confetti because that was good.
It really makes it. That's like, I think the frosting ratios we did perfectly.
That's what you got to do.
I mean, make sure you do a good 1/4 inch thick of in the middle. See how simple that was to whip up a cake.
Okay, so for the spaghetti, after an hour for the sauce, just give the sauce. Yeah, I've got a panini. I don't know what this one is.
Here's some
Penne pasta.
rigatoni. I mean, they're all the same.
They're all the
kinda.
same. Cook whichever one. Cook it to its directions. Put it in a bowl. Lather that sauce on top. Sprinkle some fresh
We grew up
parm.
with my mom ladling the sauce on top. It was a huge no-no to incorporate all of the noodles into the
You'll
sauce.
see a lot of professional chefs toss it all. No.
Not in my mom's Italian kitchen.
Yeah.
No.
And so just load that up. Then we've got this beautiful cake and
For
the
dessert,
garlic
the garlic bread. Don't forget a side salad. Mom always did
Always had a side salad.
a greens salad. It was always simple. It was greens, olive oil, vinegar. Of course, she zhuzhed everything, just meaning eyeballed all of it. And we had a salad at every dinner. Every dinner.
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
There's a salad.
There's always a salad.
Who's bringing the salad? You know.
And then I like my salad to even blend with my sauce.
We don't need dividers for
I know.
our food.
People who need dividers, we don't know who you are and what you're doing. I like everything to blend together. Okay. Well, you said you're full. I'm going to have one last bite. Happy baking day, you guys. We
Yay!
loved baking with you. We'll see you next week.
Bye.